Let's check in with Joseph Lindsley in Ukraine.
Ukraine's success once again hitting a major point of the Russian Black Sea naval fleet.
Little Joe Lindsley.
Joe Lindsley is quickly becoming an American treasure in broadcasting.
Welcome to Ukraine.
We go to Joseph Lindsley in Ukraine. Yesterday, Joe, I was talking about how miraculous it is that we can make this connection every day, especially lately in light of all the news about Russian cyber attacks. And just as soon as I said that, we lost the connection at the end of our talk yesterday. Hope everything is okay today.
Yeah, well, I mean, that was a good real life example of how it actually is pretty difficult to connect to the internet. I mean, we have internet every day, but the Russians have so weakened the infrastructure. There are rolling blackouts late at night in many cities, including here in Lviv, and it's often difficult to connect. I carry 3 phones with me, so I can always hop to a new network, and yesterday all 3 failed. And we could do a test right now because we could jinx ourselves again here. But
yeah, I hope the Russians aren't listening.
Well, we have pretty good evidence that their agents and operatives are indeed listening, and as they are to many media. And it's a war, and they want to win. And I was mentioning here's the test. The leader of Chechnya, that's where I got cut off yesterday. Chechnya is that Russian province that the Russians actually sort of did so much to destroy in the 1990s. They killed the free people there and the resistance leaders, and so now it's one of the fiercest units of the Russian military, one of the most, sort of ferocious, comes from Chechnya. And the Chechen leader, Kadyrov, said yesterday, we need to capture Odessa and Kharkiv and put Zelensky in prison and force him to sign the papers necessary for the safety of the Russian-speaking population. And we see, this absolute bloodthirst from everyone on the Russian side. Lately, there's increased chatter on Russian TV and Russian social media about wanting to just, kill civilians. Anyone who identifies as Ukrainian, they say, needs to be exterminated. This is what they're trying to do in Kharkiv city. And it's important to keep in mind, those cities of Odessa and Kharkiv before the full-scale invasion, they were Russian-speaking cities. Sometimes my Ukrainian is better than the Ukrainian of people in Kharkiv because they grew up speaking Russian because that was the colonially imposed language. In the same way that in Dublin, they speak English. But the main essence, no matter what language they speak, is that they want to be free. And they don't want to live under Russian hell. And I want to share with you a bit of what's happening in Kharkiv. But first, we got to mention the stuff that usually gets neglected. This really extraordinary news that so Russia, since last summer, because Ukrainians have been so successful in attacking Russian ships in the Black Sea with this new form of a navy that only consists of Ukrainian drones. They've been so successful that the Russians have been forced to move their Black Sea fleet away from the major port in occupied Crimea in Sevastopol, and they've had to move it to mainland Russia, to Novorossiysk. I can't pronounce that word. It's in Russian. Novorossiysk, something like that. They moved it to mainland Russia, further away from Ukraine. To a place where Ukrainians cannot use American-made missiles to attack. And last night, or in the early hours this morning, there was a spectacular Ukraine drone attack upon the new headquarters of the Russian Black Sea Fleet, which, because of all the work Ukraine has done, that fleet has moved across the Black Sea, almost near the nation of Georgia, and on Russian soil. And Ukrainians used Ukrainian-made drones in this sort of Star Wars spectacular attack on this headquarters, and maybe it seems that the Russians had thought it was in a safer position. So despite the difficult situation on the land, we do see incredible Ukrainians using ingenuity, especially in the region of the Black Sea. Now, the situation in the north, the border, the northern border between Ukraine and Russia is very difficult. Right now, there are Russian troops approaching and lining up in north of the Ukrainian region of Sumy. The Ukrainians cannot use American weapons to hit those Russians until they cross into Ukraine. So everyone's a bit on pins and needles, waiting to see what might happen. And in Kharkiv region, The reports I'm getting now, Ukrainians are sort of containing. The Russian advance has slowed down. They're only several miles into Ukrainian territory, but it is absolutely brutal and a nightmare there. So many civilians from Kharkiv are driving to these villages near the border every single day to evacuate civilians, to evacuate pets, even farm animals, anything they can do. And I talked yesterday with my friend Gregory Sherbin. His wife, by the way, is the woman who set the world's free diving world record last summer, which we talked about a while ago. And Gregory is there in Kharkiv, working for the Kharkiv Media Hub and going to evacuate people every day. And 2 days ago, their team was at one of the checkpoints, Ukrainian checkpoint, as they're going to the edge there, and the Russians targeted it. And several vehicles ahead of them was hit directly by the Russians. Those volunteers in the vehicle were killed. And this is so you have brave civilians going through smoky roads because of all the artillery fire, and knowing that the Russians are targeting precisely, even though the civilian evacuees and evacuators. So I want to share with you just some words from Gregory Sherbin, so you can kind of feel a bit of the emotion and the reality right now in the northern region, the northern parts of Kharkiv region.
Hi guys, it's Gregory, Kharkiv Media Hub. We're evacuating civilians with their animals from villages closer to Russian border, and same time Russian troops try to destroy everything. Now they knows we don't want to see in Ukrainian land, and now they so angry and cruel. For example, few days ago they destroy car with volunteers and kill these volunteers, and every day they try to shell in special evacuation road, and for us it's so difficult to save lives of civilians, but we are strong, our warriors working hard, and we must push them away. Thank you for your support, be safe, and Slava Ukraini.
That is chilling to hear it directly from him, Joe.
Yeah, indeed, and and these are people still staying cheerful, and you do that for one day, and you got to face it again the next day, and you know that it's not coming to an end yet. Meanwhile, even in that city of Kharkiv, the Russians continue to send missiles upon the city. So even once you get home to the city, you're not safe, and that's the reality there in Kharkiv right now. So people are holding strong. There's a bit of this, the fear, but I'd say no panic and a big sense of focus, and this big news of Ukraine's success. Once again, hitting a major point of the Russian Black Sea naval fleet.
I hope you're safe this weekend, but still get a chance to go out on one of your runs, have something in one of your favorite coffee shops, and maybe listen to some Ukrainian music. And we'll talk to you on Monday, Joseph.
Thank you, Bob. I need that. Until Monday.
Thank you for introducing Ukraine on your social media pages. That's very important, that much more people can get more information about the situation here and how everybody can help Ukraine to stay stronger and to save all the world.
Что он сказал?
Well, which side are you on?
На чьей ты стороне?
Come on now. Oh, which side are you on?
На чьей ты стороне?
Ебать.